Hello, and welcome to In Depth with TommieMedia. I'm Scout Mason. Oyuna Uranchimeg is the friendly face who greets you when you walk into St. Thomas's Emerging Media Department, home of TommieMedia. But in March, Uranchimeg unleashed her competitive side during the 2022 Paralympic Games in Beijing, as she competed for the United States in wheelchair curling. After a spinal cord injury in 2000 and picking up curling in 2016, Uranchimeg became the first Mongolian American to represent the U.S. in any Olympic sport, helping Team USA place 5th during the 2022 Games. Today, I'm joined by Uranchimeg to discuss the adversity she faced and what the Olympics were like. Thanks for coming in today, Oyuna.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So when you first touched down in Beijing, what were the feelings like, and has it settled in that you were an Olympian?
Well, I mean, we were in Beijing like a few months before the Paralympics for the World Wheelchair Curling Championship of 2021. So it was a new experience touching down in Beijing. But before the whole experience, like before we actually get to Beijing, was an amazing experience. So it's still. It kind of felt really unreal because when we, before heading, like a week before we head to Beijing, all the Paralympic athletes, we were in LA for Athlete Welcome Week. So that's where all the athletes gather, and then they get processed, what they call processing the athletes. So we get like our Olympic gears and swags and everything, and then we get our credentials and things like that. And also, if there is some, there are some facilities. If available, we can also train a little bit, which we did actually. Before heading to Beijing, we trained a couple days, usually like during the night, in LA Curling Club, because we weren't able to train together for since the World Championship, which was in October. So that gave us a chance at least to train together a few hours before we head to Beijing. So anyway, just be there among all the athletes who actually made to the Paralympics. And then some of them are already like multiple-time Paralympians and so many gold medalists and so many medals in their sports athletic career. So it was just kind of unreal. Like I get to be, in that group. That feeling is just, it's so great, and it's at the same time it's very humbling feeling as well. So, the moment actually it hit me that when I actually saw the article in Team USA or the USA Curling when they announced the Team USA for wheelchair curling. So that was the moment actually I got really emotional, like just seeing, even though I knew that I already made the team back in October, and then I knew that I was going to be, what position I was going to be in that team as well. So, but then when you actually see the official printed article with your name and then just like your position and all that, so that came out, I think the announcement came out in late December or early January. I don't remember exactly when, but up until that point, it didn't really seem real. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to Paralympics, but not really getting into it. So, but then when I saw that article, I actually cried. I cried. I got so emotional just thinking like about the journey. That took me there, and it's just I can't believe that I actually get to be like one of the people who actually get to represent the Team USA in wheelchair curling. So. And then my name is in here also printed. So that was a very emotional moment, and then that kind of hit me right away. And I couldn't actually even sleep that night. Like I had practice next morning. I think it was the weekend coming up. So and then Friday afternoon I saw the article, and then I had to be up and go to practice. But then I could not even sleep. I was up like until 3 a.m. just kind of was so worked up emotionally. So anyway, and when like just the being in the crowd when I was among the athletes, other athletes in LA, and then just traveling with them from LA to Beijing, because we took the charter flight to Beijing. So all the Team USA athletes, the Winter Paralympic athletes, were actually in the same flight, and then just landing there, and then going there, and then going to the opening ceremony and things like that. It's just it is really a surreal experience, because I'm probably one of the very unconventional athletes or accidental Paralympian, or however you would call it, because being an athlete or being in the Paralympics was not my dream at all. Like, I've never actually pursued any athletic career in my life until I actually found out about curling 6 years ago. So even when in high school or in my school, I wasn't really in athletics. I mean, I played like basketball or volleyball, but it was just the school, within the school. It was not like competitive level at all. So, and then actually landing in this competitive level, and then actually in the highest level that's possible, it just seems so unreal to me. And then I am still kind of like, okay, did that just happen? So it's incredible, but it happened. So it's an incredible experience, of course, and then it's such an honor and a privilege, of course, to compete in that level, and then also represent the country that I was reborn in. Yeah, because when you probably know some of my story, how I got in a wheelchair. So in 2000, I came to the United States to visit a friend, and then just a week into my visit, I was in a car accident, in which I got a spinal cord injury, and then that kind of changed my life. And so anyway, so.
Yeah, well, getting to those Paralympics is an amazing accomplishment. And so you sort of touched on your journey, and you mentioned like you have an unconventional story. So looking back at when you were first injured, could you ever imagine like this being the outcome of that, terrible accident?
No, not at all, of course. I mean, when this kind of accident happens to you, everybody just thinks how unlucky they are, and whatever they did in their life to deserve this kind of punishment, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, losing the half of your body's function is not really something that you would be like, oh, okay, this happened, and then it's not something that you take it lightly, of course, when it's happening to you. It's not easy to get adjusted to the new body and the new life and everything. So basically, like I said, you are reborn with this new body, and you have to figure out how to actually function day to day, just like going to bathroom. So that's a challenge. So anyway, and then, but at the beginning, I really did not think that this is a great thing happened to me, I'm going to be a Paralympian. No, of course, that it was not even in my wildest dreams that I would think that, oh, okay, now I can be a Paralympian. No. Mm-hmm. But when this opportunity came up, and when I actually knew that I was going to be a Paralympian, so of course you kind of see things that happen to you in a different light, I mean, you kind of reflecting, maybe this was the reason, or I don't know, I mean, but then I don't regret whatever happened to me. I mean, it even makes it worth that everything I went through since the accident. I mean, coming to this point, actually, looking back, it makes it look, it's a worth that I was in. I don't know, that happened to me. So if that didn't happen to me, if the accident didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be here where I am today, representing the country in the Paralympics. So I guess you can just see it that way. So
yeah, I mean, turning a negative into a positive.
Oh yeah,
right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're at the Paralympics, some of your teammates have been through similar scenarios as yourself. What does that mean to you, that you're with people who have been in the same sort of situations?
So it's most of my teammates, actually all of the five of us are people with spinal cord injuries because of the a car accident. Yeah, believe it or not. So no, actually one is not a car accident. Actually fell from a tree stand. So anyway. So we share, I mean, like we have a common bond because we have this daily struggle to live with the spinal cord injury, and then we face with the similar barriers in life like accessibility and employment and whatnot, right? So we do, and then we know what it is like to lose part of your body and then get to used to this new body, and then they make the best out of the situation to move on and live your life. So in that respect, we have a lot in common, regardless we're male or female. So anyway, so I think that plays a big role in our team dynamics, because we are a group of people. We understand each other really well, and then we bonded also pretty well throughout the past 3 years, at least, like once you kind of playing together and then training together. And so you've kind of developed that bond and understanding of each other. So yeah, and everybody in our team is, I mean, we have been through the same similar circumstances, through some kind of life-changing experiences that put us where we are, and everybody says that none of them really regret what happened to them, and they just trying to use that experience, whatever happened to them, to educate the public or do something with that experience to do some good for others. Like, for example, one of my teammates, Steve Amt, he's a two-time Paralympian now. So anyway, he was in a car accident. Actually, he put himself in a car accident by drunk driving. So he's now a public speaker, and then he talks to, I mean, does the public speaking, the effects of driving and drinking, yeah, and what happened to him, and things like that. So he's a great public speaker. And then one of my teammates, Pam Wilson, she is a doctor. She's the oldest one in the group, and then she got injured in 1970s, even like when things were not as accessible, and then the public opinion wasn't as favorable to people, towards people in wheelchairs. But then she went ahead and then graduated college, and then actually went to medical school. I believe she's actually one of the first students who went to medical school in a wheelchair. So anyway, so just imagine all the barriers she has to go through, and then the things that she has to come over where she is today. And then she's a doctor in Denver. And then, yeah, a couple of my other teammates, I mean, they've been through and also in the very, I mean, if you talk to them, all have very inspiring stories, and then you can't help but be inspired and by the fact that they are here today and then competing and in this level and living their life to the fullest. So.
Yeah, a team full of inspiring stories.
Yes, yeah. I think not just on our team. I think every Paralympic athletes, I mean, they have like amazing stories. So I'm actually also inspired by every single one of them. Every single one of them I meet, and then I hear or I read the stories upon, or it's just like amazing what they've been, what they've accomplished, and considering what they've been through. So that's just incredible.
Yeah, and you mentioned being reborn in the U.S. a few times. You're originally from Mongolia and became the first Mongolian American to compete for the United States in any Olympic sport. What does that accomplishment, that milestone, mean to you? Yes, yeah, I was born and raised in Mongolia. So it's not, I don't know, I mean,
it kind of still sinking in to me, because whenever people hear, especially Mongolian media outlets and things like that, they were just highlighting that part more, like first Mongolian ever to represent the Team USA in any Olympic or Paralympic. And so I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, it's not like I wanted to be there. It's just kind of the fact that happened that way. So doesn't, at least right now, it doesn't really mean anything to me yet. But it is great to be the first, of course. I mean, it's always nice to be the first and referred to be the first in something, right? So I'll take it. If it's something great, then yeah, of course, yeah. So, but I don't think it's that special. Yeah.
Well, you'll be in the history books, though, right?
If they write about it, yes.
So we've talked about how you just have an inspiring story. What have you learned just throughout these years of, being in your accident, then curling, and then getting to this level? And what would you say others can learn from a story like yourself?
I guess, I mean, no matter what happens to you, just keep going. And I mean, there's always a better days ahead. And I know it may seem like when something bad happens, it seems like this is the worst thing ever can happen to you ever when it's happening, when you're going through the initial struggles at the beginning. But then, but having a faith and working towards some goal actually makes it a little bit easier to get over all those struggles and hurdles. So just have some faith, I mean, and then there will be better days ahead. So I think that's how I just went through what happened to me. And then as long as you have some kind of goal working towards, and then I think things are much easier. Then you don't really feel so depressed or anything like that. Because, I mean, from the beginning, when my goal was, okay, how am I gonna figure out my life with this new situation and in this new place? So, and then, because I think I should mention that I have also 2 kids, and then at the time when the accident happened, I was not with my kids, and then was separated. So my goal, of course, at the time, kind of, my focus was to get my kids here in the U.S. with me. So that became a very big goal, and then I worked towards that, but then there is so many small tasks that I had to accomplish to get my kids here. So just kept busy. I kept myself busy working towards my goal, and then it happened. So same with the curling. So once, when I actually discovered about curling, and then found out that there is actually a good chance that I could be in the Paralympics. So I kind of made that my goal. Okay, I'm going to make the Paralympics, even though, I mean, I wasn't 100% sure if I would be able to make it or not. But I thought, okay, let's see where it takes me. So, okay, what do I need to do first? And then kind of made a goal, little goals, and then before you know it, I was there. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, you have a truly amazing story, and I really appreciate you for coming in today.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
If you have a topic you would like covered on in depth, tweet us at TommieMedia. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube for all the latest TommieMedia videos. With Oyuna Uranchimeg, I'm Scout Mason. We'll see you next fall here on TommieMedia.